Hi, I'm Daniel Haug, and today I'm going to give you an introduction into the GMAT and also how to get started studying for the GMAT. So to start off, I'm going to start with the structure of the GMAT. And so we begin with the AWA section, the Analytical Writing Analysis or Assessment section. Then we go to the Integrated Reasoning, the Math section, and then the Verbal section. And so we start off with the AWA section, and this part lasts 30 minutes. And a lot of people, when they start studying for the GMAT and they see this section, they kind of, especially for non-natives, they kind of worry about it because 30 minutes isn't very long to write something, and also because, well, they might not be used to writing in English. However, it's not something really to worry about for two reasons. One is because schools don't really care too much about the writing section because it doesn't affect your score out of 800. And the second reason is because once you study a template, so basically a model for how to do the writing section, it's not that big a deal. So after we do the writing section, we go to the integrated reasoning section, which also takes 30 minutes. And here again, this isn't really such a big deal. The integrated reasoning section began in June 2012. And so it's not even 5 years old yet. And since schools have to be able to compare students from today with people 5 years ago, and since the integrated reasoning section didn't exist 5 years ago, they can't really compare the people today with people in the past with the integrated reasoning. So the integrated reasoning doesn't count so much. Also, it doesn't count towards your score out of 800. So that's another reason why it's not such a big deal. Now, I mean, if you do well on it, that's great. But it's not something to really worry too much about. After we do the analytical writing section, the integrated reasoning section, then we have a 8-minute break. Oop. So they say it's 8 minutes, but actually it comes out to be more like 5 minutes. Because when you finish these two sections, you have to raise your hand. The guy comes, you say, I want to take a break. He says, okay. You go outside. You have to put your hand on a palm reader. After you put your hand on the palm reader, then you start your break. Then, you stretch, you eat a granola bar. Then when you want to go back, you have to put your hand on the palm reader again, and then you go to your computer. So in the end, you don't really have 8 minutes. So when you're doing your practice tests, it'd be better to give yourself about 4 or 5 minutes of a break instead of the full 8 minutes, because in the real thing, you're not going to have 8 minutes of relaxation. So AWA, integrated reasoning, 8-minute break that comes out to be about 4 or 5 minutes. And then we've got the math section. So this is the beginning of the meat of the GMAT. So this is the math section and the verbal section. These are what give you your score out of 800 points. So this is 75 minutes, and it's 37 questions. And so that means you have a little bit over 2 minutes per question. Now some people think, oh, I should spend, well, it's said online in some forums that the first questions are more important than the last ones. So I should spend more time on the first ones. Really, this isn't the best strategy. Really, what you should try and do is spend about 2 minutes on every question. I mean, on the first 1 or 2 questions, if you spend a little bit extra time, that's fine. But in general, try and stick to 2 minutes per question. And then lastly, oh, well, now we've got another 8-minute break, which again turns out to be like 4 or 5 minutes. And then lastly, we've got the verbal section, which is 75 minutes again, and 41 questions. So here we've got a little less than 2 minutes per question. However, the sentence correction questions usually take about 1 minute and 10 seconds, 1 minute and 15 seconds on average, or at least that's what you should be shooting for. So you're going to have a little bit longer on the critical reasoning section or questions and the reading comprehension, and you're going to have more time on that because you want to spend less time on the sentence correction. So that's the structure of the test. Now, how do you get started studying for this test? Because, I mean, there's so many things to know. Well, so many different study guides, and like, how do you get going? So what you want to do first is you want to take a practice test because you need to know where you're at. And once you know where you're at, you know how much you need to study and you'll have extra motivation for studying. After you do the practice test, then you need to find a strategy guide. This is a big mistake that a lot of people make. They go straight to doing the official guide, which is great. The official guide has really good questions, but it doesn't have strategy, at least for the math part. So before you start doing lots and lots of questions, you want to start by studying strategy. And after you study strategy, then you want to do lots of questions. After you do lots of questions, then you want to go back and review those questions and then do more practice tests. And that is the structure of the GMAT, kind of an introduction to it, and how to get studying for the GMAT as well. I'm Daniel Haug, and this is a video for Admissions Parallèles and Vincia Prep.